Hi everyone, my name is Joe Marchese.
I'm Thomas Ognebeen.
And we are the Fantasy Football Boyz. So we're just going to start out here, tell us a little bit about ourselves. My name is Joe Marchese, avid football fan for as long as I know. Fantasy football, the main league I'm in, I've won the championship 2 times in a row. Last year, sadly, came in 4th place, but this year I'm definitely going to rebound with this team. We'll go into depth with that later. And then I just know everything about fantasy year-round. I'm always studying it, doing everything, and I'm hoping to pass my knowledge on to you so that you can succeed well in your leagues too.
My name is Thomas Ognebeen, and I recently won the our Fantasy Football League championship. He was a 2-time champion, but I won it this year, first time ever, so I had a pretty decent team. I had a lot more people in the later part of the year stick out for me. Like I'll give you some examples. You got Matt Ryan, you got Jordan Howard, Kyle Rudolph had some pretty good games, Delaney Walker, and then my starting kicker Justin Tucker. He always came through for me, so pretty good. So I'm looking to rebound this year, maybe go back to back, but I didn't have that great of picks this year. I had a couple okay players, but I'll see what I can do. So that's all I got.
All right. So the first thing we're going to go into is some breaking news. One guy I drafted this year, I actually got him for a good value, was Ezekiel Elliott. And as some of you may know, he was suspended 6 games. There was a trial, he appealed, but it was upheld. So he's still suspended 6 games. But here's the important news here. Since the NFL took so long to do this, they're going to let him play first game versus New York Giants, which could be very favorable to some people who want to draft him. It may, his ADP, average draft position, may go up because if you haven't already had your draft, it's going to go up because he's going to be able to start week 1, and that is a division rivalry, Sunday Night Football, great game. He's going to be hungry. He's going to want to show himself in that first game, and he's going to go off, is my prediction. I'm definitely slotting him into my starting running back position week 1, but then after that, sadly, he does have that 6-game suspension, so that may hurt him a bit. But I think after that, he's definitely gonna be a beast. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be a beast, and he'll probably, because let's see, is he the number 4 running back being taken right now? Because I know Shady's number 3, so.
No, he's definitely below that because of his 6-game suspension.
Oh yeah. Let's see, where is he?
But that definitely is gonna be a great thing. I hope all your drafts have gone good.
Mm-hmm.
I can just elaborate right now, go into my team. I'm in a couple leagues this year. This is my main one with Tom.
Mm-hmm.
My quarterback, I'm just going to go into depth. I'm just going to list my players off and then tell you more about them. Marcus Mariota, LaShawn McCoy, Melvin Gordon, Des Bryant, Michael Thomas, Kyle Rudolph, Joe Mixon, and then in our league we have a defensive lineman, and I have J.J. Watt. I have the Texans defense and Matt Ryan, and that is my starting lineup. My bench includes Ezekiel Elliott, Terrell Pryor Sr., Jameson Crowder, Amir Abdullah, Zay Jones, Devontae Parker, and Kirk Cousins. Now, with my team, I really like the value that I got. I had the 5th overall pick, and I got LaShawn McCoy with that. I think that he can really do good up in Buffalo. He's really the only guy. They've traded away Sammy Watkins. They have rookie receivers as in like Zay Jones, Andre Holmes, really guys that have not proven themselves. Jordan Matthews, he broke his sternum. It's not really that good.
Yeah, they've lost some people, like Anquan Boldin retired. Jonathan Williams recently got released, and then he actually got signed by the Broncos not too long ago today.
So I really think good value is in him. He's the workhorse of Buffalo. He's going to get the ball. Marcus Mariota, I really like him this year. I think he's going to be a top 6, top 5 quarterback. I think that he's going to take the Titans very far this year. I really like what they do. They have Corey Davis down there, Rashard Matthews, Delaney Walker, DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry. Their offense is just stacked, and
Eric Decker,
including, and I really think that they can just really go off right there. Melvin Gordon, obviously, he may not get that many yards per carry, but he gets the ball a ton of times, especially near the goal line. Touchdowns, that's all he gets. Des Bryant, rebounding. Dak Prescott over there. Ezekiel is going to be missing. They're going to be throwing the ball more. Des Bryant, monster year again. Michael Thomas, with the absence of Brandon Cooks, he's emerged as the number 1 wide receiver in that offense. Big thing here is Willie Snead was suspended for 3 games. So that's 3 games that Michael Thomas now is even a greater value for those first 3 starts of the season, which I think is really is actually really great. I love him a lot this year. Kyle Rudolph in a PPR. This is not a PPR, but in a PPR, he's great. He gets a ton of receptions. I think Minnesota's definitely going to use him a lot more. A guy I like and was sort of disappointed about was Joe Mixon. I'm disappointed because he's listed third on the depth chart. I really think that if it wasn't for his off-the-field issues, he would have been a top 5 pick in this year's draft, higher than Leonard Fournette. I really do. I like him. I like his skill set. I like everything to do about him. That's why he's in my starting lineup right now. Texans defense, I think they're going to be the number 1 defense. They really just got it going on. J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney. They did lose some secondary guys like A.J. Boye. He was really good. But I really think they're going to be able to rebound and do good. And then, of course, Matt Bryant, Atlanta's kicker. Very consistent kicker. Kicks long field goals. They play in a dome, so that helps when they're home with the weather and everything like that. I'm not going to really elaborate much onto my bench. I'm going to let Tom over here talk about it. But, again, Ezekiel Elliott, great guy. Terrell Pryor, I really think that he could end up being slotted in my starter in Washington. Mir Abdullah, great guy too. He's their lead running back. He's going to steal carries from Theo Riddick. He's all 3 down back. I think he can be good. Jamison Crowder, slot receiver. He can score. I'm not sure. Maybe trade bait for me. Zay Jones, I personally just love him. I love the name. I love the guy. I like him from ACU. Yeah. I had to have him. My actual team name is Zay Day Every Day, so I sort of had to get him for that. Yeah. Devontae Parker, bye weeks, he's definitely getting slotted in. Miami really doesn't have many options. They have Landry.
They're saying he's been drafted. He's drafted higher than Landry too. So
yeah, he is being drafted higher than Landry because he's going to get more red zone targets than Landry. Landry's a slot receiver. He's going to get more red zone targets. Then of course Kirk Cousins. He's a good quarterback and everything like that. I went really heavy with Washington on my bench, I guess, but that's just the guys I picked up. Now Tom can talk more about his team. That sucks.
All right, I'll start with my starting lineup. We got Cam Newton, Devontae Freeman, Isaiah Crowell, Kelvin Benjamin, Sterling Shepard, Delaney Walker, Chris Hogan, Khalil Mack. Got the Vikings defense, and I got Justin Tucker. And then for my bench, we have Matt Ryan, Robert Woods, Hunter Henry, Vic Beasley, Tyrell Williams, Kareem Hunt, and Dante Moncrief. So we'll start with Cam Newton. He's got a pretty good matchup against the 49ers week 1, so I'm kind of debating starting him or Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan plays Chicago week 1, so Cam Newton's projected just a little bit more on points, but I'd say he's pretty good. He's the 15th ranked QB, as Matt Ryan's projected second. But so I don't know. We'll see. We'll go from there. Then I got Devontae Freeman at running back. He'll be mostly my starter. He's pretty good. He's been a top 5 running back for pretty much a while.
With Devontae Freeman, don't be really afraid that Telvin Coleman is going to steal carries. He's more of a pass catcher, third down back. He is a fantasy option. But Devontae Freeman, goal line, first, second down, he's going to get those carries. He's going to get those big points for you.
He'll get the workload.
He's going to get the workload, and he's going to get the points for you. Trust me on it.
And then I have Isaiah Crowell as my running back 2. And he'll do pretty good, but I've been hearing it all depends on really the QB. But now that Kaiser's the starter, he'll probably be. He's kind of a run kind of QB too, so it'll be interesting. Then you got Duke Johnson, he'll be mostly with the passing downs. So
I really like what Cleveland has done with this offseason with their draft picks and everything. Crowell has been a fantasy option before. I think they're really going to take that next step from being the worst team in the NFL to actually being in the middle and maybe farther up get those draft picks to play in. And Crowell is definitely going to be a centerpiece of that offense.
Yeah. Then I got Kelvin Benjamin. He's got a pretty good matchup week 1, and he'll be the number 1 receiver for Carolina, so that'll definitely help. Then I got Sterling Shepard. So he's mostly projected to be, I think, the 3rd wide receiver. It's been kind of battling him and Brandon Marshall recently. So
I'm looking at the strength of schedule sheet right here. And Carolina is against San Francisco, which they have ranked as the easiest, really easy. They're 32nd ranked, which is dead last in the league. Wow. So Kelvin Benjamin, big bounce back year, tall guy. They're going to target him in the red zones. They're going to target him midfield. He's a starter in anything. And I actually traded you Kelvin Benjamin. So
it's a good trade. So
I got Michael Thomas out of it, but I traded him a bit more than I think it was worth. But you never know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah. And then I got Delaney Walker as my tight end. I had him last year. He's pretty good starting. He had 7 touchdowns last year, 800 yards. Not too bad. He usually every game or every other game he usually got a touchdown. So I would definitely consider starting him if you had him. Then I got Chris Hogan. Now that what's his name? Julian Edelman's gone. It's either going to be Chris Hogan, Danny Amendola getting the receptions. So
Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks too. I have him in one of my other leagues.
Yeah.
And then I have Khalil Mack as my defensive line. He was number 1 last year, so he'll be pretty good. He'll be getting a lot of sacks and tackles. Then I got the Vikings defense. I had them last year. They finished number 1 last year, so they got some pretty good guys still coming back. They got Xavier Rose. They got Eric Kendricks. They got Everson Griffin. They got Linval Joseph for the D line. And they got Tucker. He's been a pretty solid kicker throughout his career. And then I'll just list off my bench again. I got Matt Ryan, Robert Woods, Hunter Henry. He'll probably take over Antonio Gates for number 1 probably. And then I got Tyra Williams. And then Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, he will be number 1 now that Spencer Ware he recently got hurt.
That's the one guy I really wanted to talk about on Tom's team right now is Kareem Hunt. He picked him up off the waivers, obviously. He's a rookie. He can do 1, 2, 3. You see that 3 down back? He can do everything. Pass catch, whether it's running, passing, everything. Spencer Ware's absence is huge because now Andy Reid has said he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. It's a tough matchup, week 1 against New England. That is tough. But I was listening to Matthew Berry. He predicts him to be top 5 in all fantasy running backs this year. I don't quite think that. I think he could be top 10, but I really think that he should be slotted into a starting position on your team. And if you don't have him, you should pick him up right away. I'd start him this week against New England. Tough matchup. I'd still start him. I'd have him in there because he's going to produce week in and week out for you, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, so that's it for my team, and if you want to go ahead, you can keep going.
So basically, most of you guys have already had your draft. Just a couple players that I personally like is I do like Joe Mixon, as I've already said. I was disappointed about that, but I really think that he's going to be able to have a good year this year. Anyone you really specifically like, Tom? Just anyone on your team, anything like that? Anyone your favorite
on my
player?
team, I'd probably go. Maybe Isaiah Crow would be a nice. He's a good player. It'll be interesting to see how he does this year. With Duke Johnson pass catching, like I said before. Now, like Kaiser, he kind of runs a bit too as a QB, so it'll be interesting to see how he does.
One guy I'd like to talk about is Josh Doxson. He was a receiver drafted out of TCU, plagued with injuries his rookie season and everything. He is on Washington, which is a bit crowded in wide receivers. Terrell Pryor, Jamison Crowder, Jordan Reed, another receiver, even though he's a tight end. But Josh Doxson, I really think, could take his game to the next level, and I think by midseason I might be picking him up on my team because he will be a nice solid option and everything like that. And definitely good right there. I think if he could stay healthy, he's a great receiver. I think he might have been the first or second receiver taken in that draft. Things haven't really worked out for him, but I think he could definitely rebound this year. Another guy is pretty good. Is Dante Moncrief. Obviously, he's a great guy. He may not get receiving yards.
Yeah, I have him
but
on my
what he does is he catches touchdowns. I've had him on my team multiple times. Touchdown. In the red zone, 1 yard line, doesn't matter. Touchdown, that's 6 points in my league. It is in most standard leagues and everything like that. You agree on that, Tom?
Yeah. I got one more guy, Martavis Bryant. I did have him on my team at one point, but I recently traded him because he was still suspended and all, so... But I think he'll have a pretty good bounce back year. He's got Ben Roethlisberger, good QB, so, and they still got other pass catchers next to him. You got Eli Rogers, you got Antonio Brown, you got Jesse James, and they got another tight end recently, Vance McDonald. So it's still got a lot of good passing guys around him. So, but it'll be good.
We can talk about some players that you might want to avoid this season. The first one I'm going to do, you may not think about it, is Jordan Howard, the Chicago Bears running back. He broke out last season. Great running back.
Yeah, I had him at the end of the year.
Yards and yards, touchdowns. But this year, I really just don't see him. I mean, he can be drafted. I've told people to draft him before because he is the best available guy. And he's still going to produce, but, I don't think in the numbers that he did last year because Chicago really does not, they don't have anyone else. Defenses are going to definitely be able to stack the line on Jordan Howard, and I don't think he's going to have as great as a year as last year. And he might be, if you have other guys there, he might be someone you pass up on because I really don't think that he can produce as he did in the volume that he did last year. What do you think? Some guys you might want to avoid, Tom?
I think Jordan Howard would be okay, but then I've been hearing his backup Tarek Cohen might do pretty good if he's like hurt or anything or like with passing downs. So
anyone else, like any player you would want to avoid?
Not that I could think of at the moment, but I think that's pretty much it. If you have anybody else,
we can move into a bounce back player of the year. Mine is DeAndre Hopkins, and what do you think yours would be, Tom? Bounce back player.
Bounce back. Let's see here.
I'll let him think about it. I'll talk about
you
DeAndre
can talk
Hopkins.
about him.
DeAndre Hopkins had the worst quarterback ever in Brock Osweiler. He couldn't even make it on the Browns. He's now back to his old team, the Denver Broncos. But now you got DeAndre Hopkins with Tom Savage, who I don't think will end up starting. I think Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson likes to air it out, and he just got the huge contract extension. What was it, like $81 million or something like that?
Yeah,
it was a crazy amount of money.
5 years too.
It's a crazy amount of money. They're paying him. They think he can do good. I definitely think he's going to be able to bounce back. I have him in a couple of my leagues. He's definitely starting, and I think he can definitely be great. He is my bounce back player of the year. Close second to that would be Keenan Allen. I loved him.
Just about to say him.
Tom, you can say him. You can talk about him.
Yeah.
But I had him on my team, doing great, catching all those balls, and then there goes his ACL.
He got injured last year of week 1, but hopefully I think he'll be able to bounce back week 1, and then he'll be Phillip Rivers' main target. So I think he'll be a good bounce back, and he'll get a lot of yards and touchdowns this year. So
yeah, I definitely think those two wide receivers should be starting in your lineup, and we'll have a bounce back year. Keenan Allen had some durability injury issues, same with Hopkins, but I think if they stay healthy and their quarterback can throw to them, which obviously Phillip Rivers does, and the Texans will figure it out eventually, they will produce. They definitely will. That's a lot of what you should know for this upcoming week 1. You got Thursday night game, which is tomorrow. We got that Thursday night. That's going to be against the Patriots and the Chiefs in Foxborough, and the Patriots. So Kareem Hunt definitely is a starting option. A guy I would avoid in that game would definitely be Tyreek Hill. All for the season, actually. I had him on my team last year. 1, he's not going to be returning punts. There you go. Punts or kickoffs. That's like half of his points last year. And 2, I've watched him in preseason. He doesn't really have that good of hands. He can't catch. He's just a speedster. He's not going to be a good fantasy option. Other games you might want to look at for some.
If you want, we can predict who will win if you want. We can start our weekly predictions.
Okay. All right. So first game, Kansas City, New England. I think New England is going to win that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say New England. I think it'll be a close game, though. Maybe decided by a touchdown field goal.
Okay, next game would be Buffalo, New York Jets. I really have to go Buffalo for this one. New York Jets are going to be the worst team in the NFL this league, hands down. Even with their quarterback situation, I can't.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's defense will get a lot better now that they'll be in the 4-3, so they're definitely going to take the win, and we don't even know who the QB is really, so.
Chicago, Atlanta. I say Atlanta. They're coming off the Super Bowl loss. They want to prove themselves this season. Chicago, like I said, avoid Jordan Howard. If you must start him, you must, but I don't think he's going to be that good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Atlanta on that one as well. So,
Tom, you can start off the next one.
We got Philadelphia and Washington. I'm going to have to go. That's probably going to be a close game. Like I said, decided by a touchdown or field goal. I'll have to go with Washington on this one. So.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. They're starting off at home. They usually have good rivalry there. So
I am gonna go with Philadelphia. With my argue with Tom because they have Carson Wentz. They brought in some people in Torrey Smith, Alshon Jeffrey. They're gonna be good this year. I really do think that Philadelphia's gonna win this game.
All right, next game we have Oakland and Tennessee. I'm probably have to go with Tennessee on that one. They'll be at home. They got a lot of new passing weapons. They got Tywan Taylor. They got Rashard Matthews. They got a lot of new guys that will definitely help them. So.
I really want to say Oakland because I like Derek Carr and I like what Oakland does, but I love Tennessee. I think that they could go to the AFC Championship this year. I'm going with Tennessee all the way.
All right, we got Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I'm going Pittsburgh all the way. Too many weapons. Now that Le'Veon Bell is officially back, that will definitely help them.
Yep.
And Cleveland. We don't know for sure what's going to happen.
I agree with you, Tom. Pittsburgh. I mean, it's at Cleveland, but I really think Pittsburgh's just gonna destroy Cleveland. Will have a better year this year, but not against Pittsburgh.
We got Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Oof.
Those are usually good games too, decided by field goal or touchdown. I'll probably have to go with Cincinnati on that one because we don't know. Joe Flacco, I think, recently just came back to practice, so it'll be interesting to see how he does too. So.
It's going to be an interesting game, and I'm going to go with Baltimore on that one. Sorry, Tom, because Baltimore's defense is really looking good this year.
Yeah,
they are actually really. They look so dominant in the preseason and everything like that, and I think they can definitely shut down the Red Rifle and Andy Dalton. That's why I'm going with Baltimore.
Now we have Arizona Cardinals and the Detroit Lions.
I think I'm going to go with Arizona on that one. Detroit's just too scattered. Matthew Stafford got paid big bucks, but I really don't think he's worth it. Arizona's going to win that game.
Yeah, I'm going with Arizona. Detroit recently lost players. They lost Anquan Boldin, but they got a new guy they got in the draft, Kenny Galladay. He has to prove himself, but we'll see how he does.
6'4", huge red zone threat. Might be a midseason pickup. We'll talk about that one next time.
Then we have Tampa Bay and Miami. Their game recently got scheduled because of Hurricane Irma. So
I think Tampa Bay's going to win that. I love what Jameis Winston can do. Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, Deshaun Jackson. They have the weapons, and they're going to use them to their full effect. Miami lost Ryan Tannehill. They have Jay Cutler. I'm going Tampa Bay in that one.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go Tampa Bay as well. Yeah. All right, now we have Jacksonville and Houston.
I'm going to go Houston in that. I really think their defense is going to be dominant in their offense with DeAndre Hopkins and Lamar Miller. They're going to win the game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Houston too. DeAndre Hopkins, like you said, he'll probably bounce back in that game. And
all right, you can take the next couple ones.
All right, we got Indy and LA. That's going to be an interesting one too. But now that Andrew Luck will be out, so
who are you going to go with?
I'll probably go with LA because I think their defense pretty good matchup fantasy wise. So
I agree with you. I'm going to go with LA. The Colts still have a good offense, but with Tolzien in and not Luck, that's just too questionable for me. LA, they have all their pieces together. They're starting to build their offense. I'd like to see how Jared Goff does this year. And now they have Sammy Watkins, so I think it'll be an interesting game, but I think LA will pull out for week 1.
Now we have Carolina and San Francisco. We're going Carolina in this one. They got Christian McCaffrey. They got all new weapons. KB, number 1 receiver. They're going to shine out.
I'm going to be so surprised if San Francisco, if it's even a game, really.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to San Francisco fans, but it's just Carolina. They just have all the weapons, and I think they're going to have another good team this year.
Now we got Seattle Seahawks at the Green Bay Packers.
Oof.
That's going to be a close game. I'll probably have to go Green Bay in this one. They got a lot of weapons, even though Seahawks defense is usually top 5, been good for years. I think Green Bay's going to come with the win.
I do agree with Green Bay. Their defense is better, and they have all these weapons, so I'm going with Green Bay for this one.
All right, now we have the New York
Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night.
I can take this.
All right.
I'm going with Dallas in this one. Ezekiel Elliott's going to play in this game. He's going to dominate in this game. Des Bryant dominate. Dak Prescott dominate. New York Giants are going to be good. It's going to be a great game. It always is. Sunday Night Football, but I'm going with Dallas.
Now we have back-to-back.
Who are you going with?
Oh, I'll probably go Dallas. Now we got back-to-back Monday night games. We got the Saints and the Vikings, and then the other one is the Chargers and the Broncos. So for New Orleans and Minnesota, I'll probably have to go Minnesota on this one, I think.
I think I'm going to go with New Orleans in that one. I mean, they have the crowded backfield. Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, he wants revenge.
Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. He wants revenge. They got their wide receivers and Michael Thomas, Drew Brees. Their defense is rebuilding. I think they're definitely going to win that game. I don't know. It's going to be a close one. And then for our final game of the night would be the LA Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. I think that's also going to be another good game. I think the Chargers are actually going to win because Denver doesn't have a good quarterback. They have a good defense, but I think the Chargers are still going to win that game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers too. They're saying they're going to have a good defense this year. So, and Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen, they're back, so that will help a ton.
Okay, those are our weekly predictions. I hope you like it, and I hope you learned some stuff, everything. We have to wrap this up right now, but we'll be back with another video soon, and I hope you got a nice week. I hope you learned. Hit us up with any questions you have. Make sure to subscribe. This has been the Fantasy Football Boys, Joe Marchese, Tom Ognavine. Have a great night. Have a great day. See ya.